As gay and straight mix, ideas held as fixed for many decades no longer seem relevant.
The lines are totally blurring between gay and straight. Are you gay and you play football? Are you straight and you like Donna Summer? These things are okay.
So much so that gay is now entering homophobia's holy of holies. Hip-hop, with its emphasis on hypermasculinity, has never embraced a queer artist.
Y'all know me, still the same OG, but I've been low-key, hated on by most of
Hip-hop is basically an inner-city black phenomenon. And in the city to survive, you had to be tough. I mean, it was like the survival of the fittest. So homosexuality is equated with weakness. You're not going to survive.
This year saw a breakthrough, with a gay hip-hop artist landing a major label record deal. His name is Caution.
I am Caution.
If a queer hip-hop artist is marketable enough and they can find a niche for that person, then yeah, the radio will have to play them.
And still I rise in the heat of the night, like the front side of a skirt on a transvestite.
I'm sending a message out there of tolerance, you know what I'm saying, for people to realize that, hey, we exist, you know what I'm saying, so, you know, let us rock.
Sports, an area where some of the first gay public figures came out, is still rife with homophobia, especially for team players.
The team mentality is all for one, and if you're gay, you can't be part of one.
In the 90s, Billy Beane played Major League Baseball for the Detroit Tigers, the LA Dodgers, and the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I never opened up any kind of honesty to anybody while I was playing. The last thing I wanted them to know is that I was gay.
Now retired, Beane is flying the flag for gay baseball players and fans everywhere.
I think that we have been raised with this sort of mindset that, you know, you can only be tough and heroic and courageous and masculine if you're heterosexual, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
In Hollywood, a community that likes to think of itself as very hip and open, it's much easier to play gay than it is to actually be gay.
There are a lot of closets in Hollywood. Most of them belong to actors at this point.
I mean, the only ones that are out are British people like Rupert Everett and Ian McKellen.
There's always that joke, is he British or is he gay?
In Hollywood, if you're a straight guy playing a gay person, you win the Oscar. I think it should be the other way around. If you're a gay person playing a straight person, then you should really win the Oscar.
In Washington, friends of Dorothy have made it to the corridors of power.
How does the fact that I love another man and live in a committed relationship with him threaten your marriage?
But Dorothy also has enemies.
There is a tremendous religious right in this country that is very much still appalled by homosexuality and say that it's wrong.
That kind of ideology is entrenched within our political system and in much of American culture.
Both pro and anti forces are at work. Will the religious right be able to take back gay rights?
I don't think anybody can roll anything back at this point. It's already too firmly established, and, you know, the times have changed.
But there are still those who are behind the times. In Laramie, Wyoming, Matthew Shepard was murdered in a brutal hate crime. And last year in West Hollywood, the same thing nearly happened to me.
A gay man is in critical condition tonight, the victim of a vicious beating attack that authorities are treating as a hate crime. Police say 34-year-old Trev Brody and a friend were hugging and saying goodbye when two men came from behind and attacked them with baseball bats. More than 100 people gathered today in a park in West Hollywood to pray for Brody's recovery.
I just want my boy to be able to see all of you and to know that you're all here praying for him and rooting for him.
Words from a mother whose son fights for his life.
I came this close to death, and a year later I'm still struggling through the recovery process, and sometimes getting through the day can be incredibly difficult. But God, I am so happy to be alive, and I'm happy to be with friends and family, and I get to stick around and see what happens in the future.
I think what's so amazing about this generation of young people is how quickly the homophobia seems to be dissipating.
I know in my hometown, you know, in the area, they're having gay proms
for gay and lesbian kids.
The world is their oyster, you know. Sexuality is not going to even be an issue.
They can maintain their, culture and religion and be out at the same time. So I think the possibilities are really endless.
The future, in a lot of ways, is already happening now.
I know straight kids that, to get on their parents' nerves, tell them they're gay. They come out when they're not, just to see their parents freak out. So this is all a new kind of rebellion, a new way to be bad when gay is not enough.